KP's Video News. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. Say what? KP's Video News, y'all. It's time for the news.
That's right, it's time for the news. It's KP's Video News, y'all. Okay, I got a few stories here, and I'm gonna get started right away. And the first story is about Boston, and Boston is supposedly going to remove a statue of a slave kneeling before Lincoln. Oh boy, this is where we at today, folks. So we got Boston Arts Commission voted unanimously Tuesday night to remove a statue that depicts a freed slave kneeling at Abraham Lincoln's feet. The commission has fielded escalating complaints about the Emancipation Memorial, also known as the Emancipation Group, and the Freedmen's Memorial as a nation confronting racial injustice rethinks old imagery. The statue has stood in a park just off Boston's Common since 1879. It is a copy of an identical monument that was erected in Washington, D.C. 3 years earlier. The copy was installed in Boston because the city was home to the statue's white creator, Thomas Ball. Although the monument was created to celebrate the freeing of slaves in America, its design disturbed many who objected to the optics of a man kneeling before Lincoln. What I heard today is that it hurts to look at this piece, and in the Boston landscape, we should not have works that bring shame to any groups of people. After engaging in a public process, it's clear that residents and visitors to Boston have been uncomfortable with this statue, Boston's mayor, Marty Walsh, said in a statement. More than 12,000 people have signed a petition demanding the statue's removal. Officials did not immediately set a date to take it down and said details would be worked out at their next meeting on July 14th. The memorial has been in Boston's radar at least since 2018, when it launched a comprehensive review of whether public sculptures, monuments, and other artworks reflected the city's diversity and didn't offend communities of color. The Arts Commission said it was paying extra attention to works with problematic histories. As we continue our work to make Boston a more equitable and just city, it's important that we look at the stories being told by the public art in all of our neighborhoods. Freed black donors paid for the original in Washington. White politician and circus showman Moses Kimball financed the copy in Boston. The inscription on both read, "A race set free and the country at peace. Lincoln rests his labors." But blacks weren't part of the design process, and the memorial's central visual takeaway, a black man kneeling before his white savior, has had people cringing for years. Protesters had vowed to tear down the statue in Washington, which has been protected by National Guard troops guarding it and other monuments. Time for it to go. It's time. It's time for it to go. And having said that, on to the next level, and this is where we have a Black Lives Matter mural painted outside Trump Tower. Where's my bell? I gotta ring my bell over here. Anyway, we got a Black Lives Matter mural painted outside Trump Tower in New York City, and they need to paint one in front of every Trump Tower with the help from the city's mayor. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio grabbed a roller Thursday to paint Black Lives Matter in front of the namesake Manhattan Tower of President Donald Trump, who tweeted last week that the street mural would be a symbol of hate. Oh boy. De Blasio was flanked by his wife and Reverend Al Sharpton as he helped paint the racial injustice rallying cry in giant yellow letters on Fifth Avenue in front of Trump Tower. Activists watching chanted, "Whose streets? Our streets." The mayor announced the plan to paint Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower last month after earlier saying the slogan would be painted on streets at several locations around the city. Trump responded via Twitter that the mural would degenerate this luxury avenue and further antagonize New York's finest. De Blasio tweeted back that Black Lives Matter is a movement to recognize and protect the lives of black people. Rahima Torrance, 20 years old, was among people slapping yellow paint on the Fifth Avenue, said that even though the mural might be a symbol, it's the beginning of something more. She said the location in front of Trump's tower, Trump's own skyscraper, shows that we matter, and it shows to him that you can't ignore us. Washington, D.C. was the first city to get a giant yellow Black Lives Matter mural when Mayor Muriel Bowser had it painted on the street leading to the White House. Bowser said the painting was intended to show solidarity with Americans outraged over the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Trump lived in Trump Tower before he took office as president, but has spent little time there since. He changed his official residence from New York to Florida last year, but his business empire is still headquartered there. Oh man, I'm telling you, life goes on, folks. Life goes on. And with this particular story here, I'm going to go on to the next story, and it's a black attorney that's inducted to the prestigious Marquis, who's registered for excellence in law and activism. So we have attorney Zulu Ali has been inducted into the Marquis, the who's who for excellence in law and activism. Since 1898, Marquis Who's Who has recognized accomplished and prominent professionals in its biographical publications. As in all Marquis Who's Who biographical volumes, individuals' profiles are selected on a basis of current reference value factors such as position, noteworthy accomplishments, visibility, and prominence in the field, and all are taken into account during the selection process. Zulu Ali is a practicing trial attorney, businessman, social commentator, and activist, a former police officer, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He earned a doctorate in law from Trinity International University, a master's in administration of justice and business from the University of Phoenix, and an undergraduate degree with the focus on African studies from Regents College through a consortium with Tennessee State University. He is a postgraduate scholar of international and treaty law at Euclid University, West Africa, and a doctoral scholar of business with a research focus on Pan-African business and the trade at California Southern University. Yes, California Southern University. Okay. And Attorney Ali is the founder and principal at his representative of a principal attorney of his practice based in Riverside, California, where he focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, and persons seeking civil justice in state and federal courts. Ali is also admitted to represent persons at the African Court of Justice and Human Rights in Tanzania and International Criminal Court at The Hague, Netherlands. Attorney Ali, his law firm, take on extremely difficult cases and matters that provide an opportunity to make changes in the law through the courts when the law is unjust. Attorney Ali served as director of the American Committee for the United Nations Oversight and Advocacy Group that lobbied the United Nations for police reform in 2015. He is the director of the Stop and Frisk Academy, which mentors and trains at-risk youth to deal with police encounters. Director of Southern California Veterans Legal Clinic, a legal clinic offering no-cost and low-cost legal services to military veterans, and a member of the National Conference of Black Lawyers. Equally important, in 2017, Attorney Ali was recognized as one of the most influential African American leaders in Los Angeles by the National Action Network, founded by Reverend Al Sharpton. And the guy, man, his list of accomplishments and books is long, extremely long, and he's done a lot. Born and raised by a single mother, who Ali considers his hero, he is the grandson of the late AD and Bessie Reynolds, Perry and Kathleen Reese, and Mr. and Mrs. Castleman. He is a descendant of Africans of Igbo and Belante distinction, brought to central Tennessee in the 18th century and subjected to forced subjugation. His family has resided in the central Tennessee area since the 18th century, and in spite of forced subjugation, has contributed significantly to national wealth, community service, military service, and a variety of professional areas. So that's Zulu Ali, prominent attorney, and he's has a long list of accomplishments there.
So it's time. You know what time it is? Say, do you know what time it is? By the news.
Peace, y'all.
It's time.